Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Cato and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. Today I have a little bit of a different video because I have already made the cards. I am just making the matching envelopes today. Now I'm making 3 envelopes for 3 different cards. I'm going to show you them quickly here. These are cards that I've already made videos for, so I will leave all the videos in the description below. And I'm first going to walk you through how I make the envelopes, and then I will talk a little bit about designing them. This is the 123 punch board. You can make envelopes, bows, and boxes with them. I am just going to be talking about the envelopes. This is a punch board by We Are Memory Keepers, and on this little fold-out thing you have all the instructions. So just look at the envelope one, and you have 3 columns there. You have the card size, then you have the paper size. All the papers you will cut for this will be square. And then you have the punch guide, and that is where you line up the paper on the punch board. Now, I will show you this 3 times, so it should be clear by the end. So I have put the measurements of my card, an A2 size card, of my paper, an 8 and a 1/4 inch sheet of square paper, and then of the punch guide. So that is where I line up the paper the first time. Then I punch, score the line with the envelope score line there. Then I line up that score line, rotate it, line up the score line, and then punch again. So you only line it up at the measurement that you get in the instructions the first time you line it up. Then you rotate it anti-clockwise, line up the score line with that little score line on the left. And that is where you punch the second, third, and fourth time. I'll show you this 2 more times, so it should be clear at the end. Now I'm reinforcing all the score lines with my bone folder. This bone folder comes with the punch board, and I love the teal color, I love teal. And then I can add some glue to the bottom of this so I can adhere this envelope together. Now, if you're gifting envelopes, or if you're gifting a gift set of cards, you don't want to seal all the envelope edges shut, of course, because you want people to be able to use them. Just put some double-sided tape on the top flap so people can adhere it together when they're ready to send it off. Now, I'm once again showing you an A2 size card. My paper is still 8 and a 1/4 inch, and I lined it up first with the 3 5/8 of an inch score line. Then I am lining up that score line I just made with the score guide on the left, doing that 3 more times, and I'm punching first, then scoring second, but that doesn't really matter. It's just what I do. Then this does also come with a corner rounder that is at the top there, so I just put that underneath that same button, punch, and that will round the corners. I only do that for the 2 long flaps. I'm once again scoring everything or folding everything and adhering it together. Now I will decorate these 2 and then I will make a different size envelope later. Now I am using the same stamp set that I used for the card here. This is the Hygge Time stamp set by Jane's Doodles, and I'm stamping 3 images in Versamark ink and heat embossing them with white embossing powder, sorry. I am then just pressing the ink cubes over the images to add a square of color to them. I will list all the supplies I used in the description below. And this is basically where I start off all my envelopes. I repeat one of the design elements that I used in my cards in my envelopes. And for this, that was the simple images on a color block background. Now these images aren't that clear yet because there is still ink sitting on top of the embossing powder. You can just wipe that off with a clean cloth, which is what I'm doing right now, and then that envelope is finished. For my second envelope, I am stamping this flower by Crafty Meraki. This is the Imperial Garden stamp set. I made the card for this on an Instagram live over on the Crafty Meraki Instagram, and I still have the mask saved. So this mask is just the stamp stamped onto a piece of post-it note. You can use masking paper, of course, that's what it's for. And I'm using a stencil by Pinkfresh Studio. This is the layered sun rays dies, I think, or stencils, I'm sorry, the layered sun rays. I think that's what it's called. I will list it below. And I am blending that in a rainbow order. Now this set does come with 3 different layers of stencils. And I'm not showing you all of it. You can go watch it in the live how I do this. It's really simple. Now this does leave some white space, this stencil set. And I don't like that very much. So I go back in with my lightest colors at the end just to fill in those really harsh white spaces with a touch of color. I'm also not blending harsh edges here. I didn't blend up all the way to the edge of the stencil, so it looks like a more organic gray there. And there you can see the card and the envelope together. Now for this mini Slimline card, my measurements will be different. So my paper size is 8 1/8 of an inch, and I am lining that up first with 3 1/8 of an inch mark. Then I can score, punch, and rotate it. And you can see that I'm doing all of this with the pretty side of the paper facing upwards. Now for mini Slimline cards, I recently started to just round one of the corners, and then I can trim off one of the longer flaps a little bit more, and that will leave me with a little bit more room to pull the card out in the end. Now this is the card I'm making the envelope for, and I like that night sky. I really liked it. So I wanted to replicate it on the inside of the card. Now in hindsight, it's not the best idea to to decorate this the top of this flap, because most people, I think, don't open the envelope in a way that they see this. They just cut into it, right? You might be better off decorating the inside of the envelope below that score line. I've done that before. I didn't think about why I just kept it to that area instead of going here. But anyway, I did some ink blending on there. Then I stamped my snowflakes and I'm embossing them with the Mermaid Tails embossing powder. I heat set that and then adhered my envelope together. And that's my 3rd envelope all finished as well. So these are all my envelopes finished. I hope I helped you figure out how to make some envelopes for your cards, so matching envelopes. I really like making matching envelopes. It really just finishes up that happy mail, you know? So here is the envelope and card, and I'm showing you all 3 that I made. I think you can really see the design elements that I repeated because I made it really obvious in these envelopes. Usually I just take one element and I don't put that much effort into it. I just think it's a nice touch, a matching envelope, but it shouldn't take an hour to make. Now, if my explanation of this punch board was a little clunky, that's because I've never explained this before, and also because it's really only clear to people who have a punch board, I think. So if you don't have one of these envelope punch boards yet, I think it's a really great investment if you make a lot of cards, because you can really give a nice touch to your happy mail and finish it off nicely. I hope you like this video. It's a little bit different from my usual stuff, but I hope you still like it. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.